Hello, this is Jimjamatic here. Welcome to Robot Wars Every Episode Reviewed. This is Heat B of Series 1. Now, last week I had Anson and we got to see the roadblock get through to the next round, and now I have another guest. Would you like to introduce yourself, special guest?
I'm Sam Elliott 64. Hello.
Hello, yes, you'll definitely recognise Sam if you watched Robot Wars reviews on the net very recently, obviously, because you've been covering the new series, haven't you? The reboot.
Yeah, it's been good, hasn't it? I've really enjoyed Robot Wars 2016. It's been something else, hasn't it?
It's been a great series, and it's been a great set of little podcasts as well with
Oh,
the.
thanks, man. I appreciate that.
No, well, I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyway, like people from Nuts, all that kind of stuff, and a few other people like I think Foxic as well, and
Yeah,
Shockwave. Some good
yeah,
teams there.
absolutely.
And of course, I had your regular guest Anson I had last week, so it's all connected.
Well, yeah, you see, I've known James for many, many years now. You see, it's all connected. It's all good.
Yeah, it's good, it's good. But anyway, we should probably get on to the review. That's
Absolutely, I'm ready.
great. So obviously, last week I talked to Anderson regarding Jeremy Clarkson, because obviously he doesn't appear in any of the series, and I was just curious, what did you think of Clarkson in the series compared to the others?
See, Jeremy Clarkson, I love as a presenter. He's, he was fantastic on Top Gear. I'm sure he will be great on Grand Tour. That's going to be a ridiculously entertaining show when that comes out. Robot Wars, he just doesn't seem very interested in.
Hmm.
I don't think that's anything. I don't think that's his fault. I think it's just a case of maybe he didn't have that much faith in it. But one thing I will say, I watched earlier today actually the making of Series 1, and he does seem properly invested in the machines there. So that's quite, it's quite interesting to know. But
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. I think Clarkson was all right. I don't think he was bad. But it just didn't really have that same energy that Craig Charles did to get the show off the ground, so to speak. I don't think he had much faith in it to begin with.
Yeah, great. I mean, I was saying last time on the other one that I did feel he was a little bit less nice to to the contestants. Like I feel like you got to be partly do that, especially because in this series it isn't the case. There's not as many there's not any kids in this series.
I suppose, apart from maybe,
Like
maybe,
like teenagers and stuff, but like I'm like
yeah,
15, but nothing
yeah,
like this. I think there's a guy
yeah,
from Demolisher. I think it's the youngest guy here, but
yeah, that's right.
there's more kids in other series, and I think if you always be with kids there, you ought to be a bit more tactful than just saying, "Oh, it was crap."
Yeah,
See you later.
basically, yeah,
Yes, but he's not a bad presenter. I just don't think the show suited his style in a way. But I can still enjoy him in this series. He does have a few good moments in it.
yeah,
But
definitely.
not I wouldn't say in this heat particularly. I'd say in other heats is a bit funnier, but oh well.
I mean,
But
there's some good moments in this series. I mean, obviously calling Shunt his mate was a pretty cool moment, and
yeah, and riffing on robots like Crazy Tokyo and Prince of Darkness, just calling it like bubblegum packets, and saying it's
yeah.
just the worst robot he's seen in his life.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good moments from Clarkson, but yeah, again, Clarkson's just a guy that it's just not his really his cup of tea. I don't think. I think he's just better suited to cars.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like trying to get I don't know, it'd be like trying to get Frankie Boyle to do the Great British Bake Off.
It wouldn't be right, would it?
No, no. I mean, I like both, but I wouldn't put them together.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
anyway, yeah. So we'll get on to the robots then, and as we always do it, we did last week. Well, I say always, once so far. We do it reverse order, so we go from heat winner and then go backwards to loser of the gauntlet. Makes it easier.
Yes.
And obviously the spoilers, but in case you haven't watched this 18-year-old series, then
Yeah.
watch it.
Well, yeah. There's literally a YouTube channel with every episode from series 1 to series 6 in it. So there's no excuse now.
Yeah. Plus, that's where I watch mine anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, yeah. So Recyclops, the first entry from Rex Garrett, a
Mm.
legendary roboteer in his own right. He's up there. He didn't last as long as he only appeared until Series 3 because he quit because of safety reasons.
Yes, that's right.
But he has made some fantastic machines in that time, and for a short amount of time, he's done really well. And this is his first robot.
Recyclops looks so cool.
It looks cool for Series 1. I mean, and I still think it looks kind of cool now considering the amount of technology went into it. I mean, it's probably it's least obviously it's the only robot that's not a wedge that he created,
Yep.
but still got the flipper on it, and the fact that he created a flipper tongue that extends out, it's so unique.
It's so needlessly complicated, yet it's just great, isn't it? It's just there's just no need for it. You could have just put out just the tongue sliding out. That'd have been pretty effective by itself, but then it flips up as well, which is just stupid. Like, why would you even have that?
I don't know.
But
I mean, obviously, given its name, Recyclops is basically a recycled robot. I mean, even one of its
it's
batteries emitted in the making of was broken, and he fixed it.
yes, Recyclops just has. I don't know. It's just a really nice design. It just looks nice. It's got the kind of black, metallic I think is it plastic covering? Is it?
I'm not
It looks like a
sure.
lampshade. I'm not going to lie to you. It really does. It doesn't look like it's sturdy or anything. I don't think it is very sturdy, but
No.
it's just one of those things. And I like Recyclops. I think it's a really cool design. The eye as well is all green and metallic and looks really nice. And yeah, it's just great. I love Recyclops.
I mean, when I first, I remember I was with when I was very younger, I think 'cause I watched Series 2 first, then went back to Series 1 after I saw like the best of it that aired.
Yeah.
And I remember I was slightly creeped out by the eye the first time because I just saw it. I was like, "What the hell is that?"
Well,
I was not scared, but
I started watching Robot Wars quite late. I mean, I started towards the end of Series 3. I think I'm a bit younger than you, James. So I think that's
only a year though. I think you were 21 actually yesterday.
yeah. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. Anyway, so um, like going back was kind of strange. Like especially go Series 3, they're much more technologically advanced than Series 1 was,
Hmm.
and I had to rely off the first Great War video to watch that. But
Oh, I had that as well, but I think I saw Series 1 in addition. Because I watched Series 2 first and missed out the first heat, which is really annoying. But
yeah.
in retrospect, I probably missed out the worst heat of Series 2, so that's probably saying something.
That's correct. But anyway, so Recyclops, yeah, Recyclops was cool. I like Recyclops. It was pretty nippy. The drive a bit a bit unreliable. Can get damaged quite easily because it's literally just there's no bottom plate, is there? It's just nothing underneath it.
No.
So yeah, but I like Recyclops. Recyclops is
Yeah, it's just a great robot. Really, the only problem with Rex's designs, I think, until Cassius 2, was that the chains kept falling off, which was a major thing that seemed to like plague him throughout a lot of his time in Robot Wars. And it wasn't an exception in this series.
oh no,
Let's just say that. But no, he's classic. This robot will always be remembered. He's still got it around, which is pretty cool.
is he?
Yeah, I think he does because I've seen him as Cassius and Cassius 2 still in pretty much the same condition they were entered in.
Oh wow.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he had Recyclops. I haven't seen a picture of it, but I wouldn't be surprised if he had kept it somewhere relatively secure. Because I mean, if he has Cassius, he must have this thing.
Well, you'd like to think so, wouldn't you? I mean,
You'd hope so.
Recyclops is a classic and probably one of the more effective robots of this series as a whole.
Oh yeah, that's why I made that. That is probably why it at least got to the heat final. So, but we'll get to that heat final later because that's a bit different.
That's probably for discussion, isn't it?
Yes, but the some would say worthy runner-up. Some would say he should have won the heat. Mortis, the first appearance of the Mortis boys, the sort of the panto villains of the show.
Oh, I love Mortis. I mean, the best part of the Mortis team is they kind of like adopted the villain role, didn't they? Quite well, especially in the third and fourth wars. They just decided to
Hmm.
they started to just go with it. It was great. It was really cool. Mortis, strongest robot in Series 1. I think we can have little doubt about that.
Oh no, it's definitely it's definitely the most well built, the most effective
Probably the
looking
most
robot.
destructive as well with the axe as well.
Yeah, I mean,
one of the fastest.
um,
That wasn't a stock robot.
no, it wasn't a stock robot. Actually, thankfully, there's no stock robots in this heat, so
Yeah, which is nice.
there's no bullshit. I mean, this one heat D and heat F like they alternate for some reason, like where the stock robots appear and when they don't appear, or is it C? No, E and F as the stock robot. Yeah, but this one D and E don't have them, so at least that's something.
Yeah, I love Mortis, especially in this series. It just looks sleek and tidy. It's got the tracks that make a cool noise when it goes across the arena floor. Like you can listen to it in the Gauntlet when it charges towards I think it's Sergeant Bash in the Gauntlet.
Yeah.
You just hear that massive roar as it goes across the arena. It's great. I love that.
I mean, it's probably my favourite designs, Mortis, because it's the first one, but I don't like the Series 2 design much as much. I like 3 and 4 with the lifting arm and all that, but the Sling, I don't know why it's, even though I'm not saying it is, but it looks slightly cheaper, the Series 2 version. I don't know why, maybe it's the armour.
Looks a lot more boxy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks, it doesn't
Series 1 looks like it's sleek and simple, really.
Yeah, I mean, in Series 3 and 4 it looks a bit sleeker, but I think in Series 2, yeah, I think it just didn't benefit from having much more of a box-looking design. But
it was still pretty good for what it was, and I like Mortis, and especially in Series 1. It was a great robot.
yeah, I mean, at least they made the semi-finals in Series 2. But yeah, they did as well as they could have here, despite. Well, we'll get to that later.
They were in a tough heat. They were in a tough heat, and I think they did the best with what they could.
Yeah, I think if they were in Robot the Brutus heat, they could have won this absolutely, hands down. Yep. But anyway, before I get to the next, another robot that will make another appearance in another series, but not as significant, probably, is LiBot.
LiBot,
The, mo-
yeah.
the metallic box on wheels with a spear that did nothing.
The woodlouse, as Jonathan Pierce called it.
It's a surprisingly accurate description if you look at it.
It looks like a woodlouse, but yeah, LiBot has something on the front which I don't really know what it does. I think it was originally meant to be a chainsaw. I think is what they had on there, but they had to take it off for whatever reason, or it broke, or I think that's what it was, but I'm not 100%. Don't quote me on that.
Oh, really? Because it just turns into this weird lance now.
Yeah, I think it was originally meant to be a chainsaw, but I'm not 100%. And obviously, they had the grinding disc on the back, which was largely useless because all grinding discs in Series 1 disintegrated on impact.
I mean, Sergeant Bash can
Twice.
test. Yeah, actually, no, more than twice.
More than twice. So I wonder how many saw blades they put. If there's any of the old production team watching this, I don't think there will be, but if there is, how many saw blades did Sergeant Bash go through in Series 1?
He must have gone for he's gone for at least 3 because he broke one on Killatron, one on Wedgehog, one on Elvis. That's at least 3 I know he's definitely broke. I mean, I think it might be more than that. I mean, Matilda.
And therefore must have gone through a 4th one because they would have put another one on.
Yeah, and it just didn't work, and it's obvious why they went for the claw in Series 3 because there was nothing better.
But anyway, back to LiBot. Slow at 3 miles an hour, not particularly threatening. The disc wasn't that great; it was in kind of a bad position, and but it was solid, and it didn't break down once.
No, it's actually it was relatively solid throughout the heat. It just kind of got through. It was sort of like how Anson was talking about last time, that robots that weren't built for combat got through the gauntlet, and this is definitely an example of a robot like that. But sort of reminds me of some robot from Series 2, Talos. Similar thing, where it's just a box.
I mean, one thing I will say with LiBot, while it wasn't like effective at combat, it could have done well because it was well put together and it actually did work. It was one of those robots that turned up and worked straight out the box and didn't really stop working until it was eliminated, and it was unlucky to get Drew in a heat with some good robots in it. So, I like LiBot for what it was. It's not really that interesting, in terms of a combat point of view, but it was quite a cool robot.
I'll say it's definitely a sequel is a lot cooler.
We'll get to that when we get to that eventually in Series 2. But LiBot was a nice starting point. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, I can agree. And next up is Scrapper, the first GBH robot, and I think I've noticed quite clearly that they clearly use the same chassis for GBH as they did for Scrapper, because it's that little kind of L-shaped box inside it. Except on Scrapper, it's a lot more obvious because that's basically the shape of the robot. But in GBH, took the same saws off it. I think they just kind of butchered Scrapper to make GBH for some reason. And Scrapper, its biggest problem was its ground clearance, clearly.
Yeah.
Because that's how it was eliminated, and it seems way too fast for its own good at times.
I think it was top heavy as well.
Oh, I mean, and that was obvious. I mean, it didn't even. I mean, Recyclops didn't have to do anything to flip it over, so it showed how pretty easily it could fall over.
I mean, with Scrapper, as you said, it's the first robot from I think the team Joint Effort, was it?
Joint Effort, that's the name, yeah.
So they built GBH. They went on to build Facet and GBH2 down the line. So with Scrapper was very quick around the arena floor, which is obviously a good thing. Quick robots weren't in abundance in Series 1.
Yeah.
Anything over 10 miles an hour was considered pretty brisk. Had weaponry that sort of worked.
Well, you never really saw it used. That's the thing. I mean,
we didn't get a chance to see it at its full effectiveness. I think Recyclops ultimately would have won that fight, even if it hadn't fell over within the first few seconds.
Yeah.
But it would have been interesting to see how Recyclops, how that armor would have dealt with the spinners.
I don't know. I mean,
it did look pretty flimsy.
I mean, we're not talking like Hypnodisc, Typhoon, Carbide type spinners, but we're talking. This is the day when saws were pretty bad. So I mean, imagine Recyclops' armor wasn't that good, anyways. I'm not sure. I mean, we never got a chance to see it, so I guess it's more hypothetical. But it might have. I mean, we never really saw the saws in action really any time in the series, so we're not really getting a good chance to see them. But I can't tell from one looking at them. They don't look that strong, but I don't know.
I think it would have done a better job than some of the other saws in this series. But that's just me. I like Scrapper. Scrapper's very quick around the arena floor. Strangely better in reverse than it is going forwards, but.
Yeah, that's strange. Actually, there's one thing I found really funny in the when it was the little introduction bits at the beginning. One of the classic Jonathan Pierce mistakes is where he said it's not the fastest robot in the heat, but makes up for it with speed and maneuverability. Yeah, JP, I think you got your words mixed up then.
JP likes to do those sort of things. It's kind of like a Murray Walker in Formula One. Like Murray Walker just like say something. There's nothing wrong with the car except the fact that it's on fire. Kind of that sort of thing. JP likes to throw in an odd Piercism.
Yeah, it's just enthusiasm. I mean, I don't really know who that is. I don't really watch Formula One, but I can imagine what you mean.
Yeah, he was a commentator back in the day.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can imagine. He's because his enthusiasm takes over his commentary
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, exactly. That's the sort of thing.
I can't fault him for that though. At least he's always enthusiastic about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, Scrapper's just kind of. They definitely improved in Series 2 with GBH. I say that 'cause they actually managed to make a Series semi-final. So
Absolutely. I mean, Scrapper's a good starting point rather than anything special. But yeah, it was good for what it was.
And now actually another robot that's managed to make famous, whether infamous reasons or whatever, is Detonator, the first version of the Napalm people. And Detonator, admittedly, is probably not the best start to have in Robot Wars. At least LiBot was reliable. I mean, Napalm is, for what it's worth, isn't that bad in Series 2 and 3 because it actually.
I think it's look if we look at Napalm it's in Series 2. Napalm is a robot that was okay in Series 2.
Hmm.
And then from then on, it just kind of like went downhill from there.
Yeah, in fairness, in Series 3, it did suffer a lot of beatings and survive, if it did get through very luckily every time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Detonator is definitely the... okay, it's debatable if it's the weakest one, because I wouldn't say the other two versions of Napalm are any better. But, I mean...
Shadow of Napalm and Napalm 2 are much better than Detonator ever was. Detonator was I can't remember who it was. It might have been Vote Saxon. He had an interview with Matt Irvin.
All right.
For his Bring Back Robot Wars campaign that was a few years ago. Obviously, I don't think that was much of a deciding factor in the show actually returning. But anyway, he said that a few teams turned up with just like a bunch of parts and said, this will be a robot. Detonator, to me, I think was probably one of those because they said in their sort of like introduction before they went into the Gauntlet, they said they had an engine at the front and an engine at the back, or they will have an engine at the back. So I don't think Detonator was entirely complete at that point. So yeah, Detonator's just it's something else, isn't it? I mean, Detonator's a robot which is a starting point, and that's about it, really.
Yeah, there's nothing really going for it weapon-wise or drive-wise or armor-wise. It's pretty much like the most... not the best start you could ever make as a robot, but at the same time, it's definitely... I mean, it's probably one of the worst robots in this series, but it's still the first series. It's only a first go, and again, it didn't look like it was a robot that was well made, like properly made by the time they got there. So I don't know. It just got unlucky, really.
Yeah, Detonator's just Detonator, really, isn't it? That's just the only word I could use to describe it. Detonator's just Detonator.
I'm just not really sure what the weapon was supposed to do. I mean, I know it was like a battering pipe or something. I don't really
spike sort of thing. Yeah.
I mean, it's barely a spike. I think it's more of a pipe, personally, but
it was there to confuse, and they had the light to confuse as well.
Oh yeah, because lights were a thing back then for some reason.
Yeah.
Just throw lights onto a robot, and hopefully won't drain the battery too quickly.
Especially in those days. I mean, these days a lot of teams use LEDs to show when the links come out. So I think in the 2016 series, Beast had LEDs illuminating the name at the back, and it was kind of like flashing on and off.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So there's like an intermittent fault. Whereas in these days, this was all very new stuff. Combat robots was still a very new thing, and people didn't know about draining the battery, I guess. But there you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, there's robots like, I think the next robot we're going to talk about does the same thing. And remember Atlas in Series 3?
Yeah.
Would do the same thing, just pointless little Kai on the top of it that was just draining your battery further.
Yeah, and Norbert from Raging Reality.
Oh, yes, of course, yeah. But, as I was saying, the last robot, the one with all the lights on it for no reason, and the one to go out in the Gauntlet, unfortunately, is LiBot. I don't know if it's... I don't think it suits its name personally. I've seen uglier robots. I've seen PS Resistance. This thing does not deserve to be called ugly.
I've seen things, man. I've seen Banshee. That's ugly.
Crazy Tokyo is just fucking. I don't know what that is. But
Yeah.
oh hell, the very first time you see Prince of Darkness before it actually got any armor on it, it looks pretty bad.
But
But
Uglybot's interesting, isn't it? Because he got stuck on the turntable, but we didn't really get to see much of it. But their control was pretty dire, wasn't it? Really, let's be honest.
to their credit though, their robot looked pretty hard to get out of the starting turntable to begin with.
Yeah.
It's so big that basically you had to basically be ultra fast to get out, or just damn lucky, and it didn't get either.
Obviously, I think you discussed the turntable last week, didn't you? About how it was just kind of rubbish to get
Yeah,
out of.
yeah. I mean, Anderson was ranting how pointless it was, basically.
Anderson likes his rants, doesn't he?
He does. Does.
But anyway, back to Uglybot and how the turntable in general has made things a bit unfair for everyone.
Hmm.
You look at Series 2, they got rid of it completely for a reason, but Series 2 is, bullshit in different ways. But we'll get to Series 2 when we get to Series 2.
I mean, yeah.
Uglybot, yeah, not really that inspiring, not really that effective, and just a bit of a shed, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the only robot that didn't return in this entire heat. So...
Yeah, every other robot in this heat comes back next series, which is kind of unusual, really. But there you go.
Yeah, I mean, actually, it's quite rare that happens, actually. But this one was definitely. I mean, there's a lot of empty space inside Uglybot, which is quite surprising. I mean, I don't get why they put so much empty space in. You think you'd make it a bit more compact then, make it look like Warthog or something, because then the technology would actually have more of a purpose then.
I think it was probably because they were anticipating to need more space.
Yeah, I guess so, but they just didn't bother.
And to fit the light in.
Oh yeah, because it's so important that light.
To make it point at the top as well, so like they think they had to build around the light and give it like enough space to fit it in.
Yeah, because that light was so necessary.
Yeah, but they wanted to do it. Let them have their moment. It was it was a bit of fun. It was a bit of fun, and
fair enough. I mean, they had their moment, and they didn't really take chance of it.
They got stuck with the house robots, didn't they? And that was Detonator squeaked through.
Only because they got the little burst of speed at the last moment.
Oh yes, well, don't worry, Detonator will have its moment to flop in a second.
Now we were talking about the Gauntlet run last week, and me and Anson were sort of agreed that while the Gauntlet and Trials were sort of unfair to robots that were built for combat, that weren't as easy to control, like Griffin or something. We do think that this series has less I mean, apart from the turntable, the actual Gauntlet itself is quite less bullshit. Because there's no changing of obstacles, making blocks instead of barrels, having a Sentinel in for half the series for no reason, having the house robots hold down the ramps constantly, having a Cyclops just rush down one side and pick them up and then just not let them go any further. It's like here it was just like
I think Kill a Lot in general in the Gauntlet's a bit bullshit because the Gauntlet's so tightly packed. You can't really get past Kill a Lot in general, but man.
I mean, I have a slight controversial opinion. I think Cyclops should have been introduced in Series 3, not Series 2, because it was too...
I think for Series 2 it was okay, but as long as it was in the CPZ, like it was only in the arena sections, so it'd have been fine to have it in just the PPZ and well, it should have been corners still, but whatever.
Yeah, but the thing is though, you say it should have been, but he never did. He was always the one that was... I mean, hell, the only reason robots like PS Resistance, Whirling Dervish even got to the next round, provided other robots, is because he just picked them up and pulled them further.
I think that's just bad driving from the production point of view, but it's just one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah, but that kind of highlights though the unfairness of the Gauntlet and Trials in general, where it can be unpredictable.
I mean, you are right in a sense that the Gauntlet was flawed from the get go, but yeah, it's one of those things. The Gauntlet was the idea given to try and cut a few teams down. I think having the arena and purely just the arena wouldn't have just worked in the early series. So
yeah, I mean the battles weren't good in the early series. I see arguments for both, but personally I do see the argument more that the Gauntlet, and at least in Series 1 it never changed, probably because of budget reasons anyway. But it still didn't. There was no.
They shouldn't have changed the Gauntlet week by week in Series 2.
No, that's definitely what I think. That would have made Series 2 a little bit less bullshit, maybe, if they hadn't done that. Because if they maybe just not had the brick wall and just had a ramp there.
Yeah, and same with not having the Sentinel in there for the whole series and just with Kill a Lot. But yeah, I think in terms of the Gauntlet, it was fine for what it was in both series. But I think Series 2, I do agree that they should have kept it a bit more consistent.
I agree, but a lot of this heat was actually kind of a lot harder runs than last week's. Like,
Yep.
I mean, unlike only like one robot, Barry, got like screwed over. This week, like pretty much all of them got, apart from Recyclops and LiBot, had a bad time getting this gauntlet.
So did LiBot finish the
Yeah,
gauntlet?
yeah, yeah. Recyclops and LiBot the only two to finish because
Yeah,
because
Recyclops. I think they got pushed through because they got their flipper got stuck open, didn't they? I think they got pushed through by one of the house robots. I think they died.
yeah, sort of, but they just managed to get to the end at the last moment, which was good.
Obviously Mortis got stuck by Sergeant Bash.
Scrapper got caught in the maze by just being. Actually, they weren't the same distance, Mortis and Scrapper, which I found funny.
Detonator, obviously, we discussed their control problems already, but
Yeah.
they were just kind of lucky to get a bit of a dash forward at the end and an ugly bot with the turntable. Yeah, this week's goal, it was tough to get through, wasn't it? It was they just didn't quite have the same control and poise as the ones in Heat 1, maybe.
Yeah, I think the only reason, yeah, because I mean, what it boiled down to out of Detonator versus Uglybot was that Detonator managed to just get that burst of speed at the last moment because it
Yeah.
managed to get unstuck, whilst Uglybot, right from the very go, was stuck. Then Shunt came in, pushed them back. They tried to go forward and Shunt got them stuck again, and it was like there was no leniency.
There was no escape.
No, imagine it was too big, so it couldn't get out of the small gap between the
That's
wall
true. Yeah, that's
anyway.
true.
So, but
That's true.
I mean, Uglybot was unlucky in this heat, and
Hmm.
I don't know. I would have liked to see them come back. Say they were going to come back, and like a lot of teams say that they just don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It was just. I mean,
Yeah.
I would have.
It was just yeah.
I would have rather seen them come back through than Detonator, than personally. But whatever.
Napalm was all right. Anyway, back to Heat B. I think the Gauntlet's been beaten to death enough.
Yeah, yeah. The trials actually. The British Bulldog. Admittedly, I think this is probably the least bullshit trial, even in Series 1 and 2.
It was just a simple get from one side to the other, wasn't it? And that was all.
Yeah, there's no barrels to get through. There's no sumo where one robot's holding one robot longer than the other. It's just get to the end, get past the house robots. That's it. There's nothing else.
Yep, job done.
And if you're slow and you're not very maneuverable, tough shit, you're not getting through. Or if you detonate and just don't work at the beginning, then fair enough. You just
They had a lot of issues, didn't they, Detonator? And obviously, so Mortis obviously just drove straight through, and that was it.
yeah. I mean, Mortis got the easiest. I mean, I think Mortis and Scrapper probably. I mean, Scrapper got caught by some of the house ropes, then just went backwards and hit the wall, and that was it, and they were in.
LiBot struggled its way through. Again, still working, not especially exciting, but made it through.
Yeah, and then Recyclops, the chain for the first time became an issue, but but we got a very historic moment in this.
We
in this trials.
did. We got Matilda flipped over.
The very first house robot KO, and it was pretty funny considering they were all ganging up on Recyclops, and just went flip you over.
Yeah, but Mortis was pushing Matilda into Recyclops, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think it was kind of being bullied by all of them, but then Matilda got too close, and I was like, right, we're gonna flip you over now.
over went Matilda, which is quite impressive considering that was 108 kilos, was it, Matilda?
I think at the time it was around 100 kilos, so considering Recyclops managed to flip that, made it quite a contender, I think, at that point.
Yeah, that was quite a big statement considering that. Again, the house robots were far heavier than the competitors ever were.
Hmm. It was an amazing feat for the first KO, and it was also quite
and for the first series as well for an early robot.
It was pretty impressive, I have to admit, and Recyclops definitely showed the engineering prowess that Rex Garrett was known for.
Absolutely.
Clearly. But yeah, unfortunately, because Detonator did not go off the starting line because of unfortunate internal issues, they are eliminated because Recyclops got further.
Yep.
So now the battles, and we actually have first one we have Scrapper versus Recyclops, and we have the quickest battle for a while, I think.
Yeah, for two series, this was the fastest fight in Robot Wars
Until Griffin versus Cerberus.
Yep.
So, yeah, this is actually quite.
Was it that? Or was it Sting and Mace? No, it was.
No, it was definitely no, because yeah, Cerberus just came in and pushed him in the pit instantly.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
But yeah, this was actually quite historical. But at the same time, it didn't. Recyclops didn't have to even use their flipper. They just came in and they just ran into them.
Yeah, Scrapper was a bit top heavy and it just kind of got stuck on its side and that was it.
Its unreliability was proven quite clearly.
That was a design for a Scrapper. Obviously, Scrapper in future series would get better, but that was the end of Scrapper.
It was quite a simple fight. All that happened was they just ran around a bit, then Scrapper ran into Recyclops, and that was it. It was just out.
Broadside, and they went broadside.
Yeah, a slightly more interesting, more one-sided battle. I think that's why LiBot against Mortis.
The superior engineering came through here, didn't it? It was just a simple case of Mortis turned up and did what he was expected to do and absolutely smashed the ever-loving hell out of LiBot.
Yeah, it was a very one-sided fight, and but it was entertaining to see actually some okayish damage for this time.
Yep.
Mortis doing it to it, and LiBot's weapon even got bent in the process because of Mortis hitting it so hard.
Yep.
It's just it got bullied.
Yeah, Mortis, superior control, driving around the arena, got a good few hits in.
Better weapon, better armor, just better, faster, just more control. Yeah, just
rip. It was just better, wasn't it? It was just a better robot, and that was that.
he got very lucky to flip him over because I actually think when I first watched that episode, I didn't think that was the way they were going to hit them.
It got it onto the side bars, didn't it? And then
I think it just kind of backed up on them, and I think they just kind of got caught on the side of them, and they managed to and then just leave them over.
And over she blows.
Over she blows, yes, and the final. Now this is Recyclops versus Mortis.
I hope you're ready for controversial decisions, kids, because there's a lot more where these come from.
Oh yes, there's many of these. I mean, did you like T2 versus Dark Destroy? Did you like Napalm versus Demolition Demon?
You nearly confused T2 with TR2.
Sorry, I nearly did. Yeah,
They are.
There's one number out from them, or one letter out. But yeah, if you like those battles? If you didn't, well, this is the first one, and this is where the controversy started.
Yep.
And to the judges' credit, they thought it should have been a draw. They were so close with this.
It was in a magazine. It was the Series 7 preview magazine. I remember this because I got it after Series 7 had aired. That there was an interview with Professor Noel Sharkey, the legend that he is, the elder wizard, and he was saying that in this particular fight they wanted to call a draw between Recyclops and Mortis. In these days, draws weren't allowed. Obviously, we saw draws later in the series in side events and things like that. But we did indeed. They wanted to call a draw. They couldn't do it, so they went for Recyclops.
Yeah, it was, and I do think. I mean, obviously, while I can sympathise with why they made the decision, because in fairness, Recyclops are quite a popular team in the pits compared to Mortis. JP was definitely. I think JP was trying to justify the decision of the.
Yes, like his commentary was quite biased, but I think that was because they were trying to make it seem like, oh yeah, Recyclops deserved to win the fight.
Yeah, the most sketchy part was when he kept saying, "Oh, good defending by Recyclops," when they were stuck on top of Mortis.
Yeah, that's not defending. That's just him being stuck.
Yeah, he can't do anything about it. It's not their fault. In fairness, Mortis did show a few times it wasn't. It did drive into a few obstacles where it could have avoided it, like driving onto the side wall and driving into the spikes.
Yeah, and getting caught on the spikes and Matilda causing damage, which counted against Mortis. I think ultimately, had it not taken that damage, then maybe it would have been different. But
yeah, because unlike the new series, back in the day, damage was the highest factor. Then it was control, I think.
Yeah, and obviously, the modern series, aggression, damage, and control in that order.
Mm-hmm. Which I think it should be that person. I think aggression is a little bit more.
It's easy to. So if you're being chased around the arena,
yeah,
but then you hit them really hard and then something flies off.
Yeah.
Then, if you're doing the chasing and then you take damage, then you lose.
Yeah.
Whereas now if you're chasing them around the arena for the whole fight, you will win.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, don't want to bring up another controversial moment. It was like when they got rid of Storm 2 over Typhoon 2 because of that one bit of damage that came off them. And they went, oh, well, you got damaged.
There's more factors in that one, but I think we'll just better to avoid that one.
Yeah, that one's very far. That's like that's the last battle of the main series. So
that's a long way away. That is
long way away. But this is definitely. I can see either argument. So someone said why Mortis should have won and why Recyclops should have won. I see both. I sort of agree with the decision because Mortis did whenever the damage or whenever they got into trouble, it was usually their fault. Like they drove into the obstacle as opposed to Recyclops, as opposed to the house robots interfering or something. Or
yeah, I think ultimately, I think it was a hard fight to call because both were very good in their own way. But I think either or could have won that fight, and I think Recyclops winning, I don't have really too many issues with.
No, I mean, I think it also came down to the fact that Mortis didn't have a weapon in this fight.
No,
their axe wasn't working.
Yeah, they had they broke their drive for their axe, so they had to transform the vehicle from being an axe wielding robot to a pusher.
And it's not built to be a pusher.
No, it wasn't built to be a pusher. But there you go. It's one of those things.
Yeah, but I I can agree with the decision personally, but at the same time, again, if someone gave me an argument, I wouldn't go. If they gave me a decent argument, I'd go, well, I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
it's not the most bullshit decision, I'd say. I think personally,
We'll
T.
see. We'll see more dodgy judge decisions later on.
Let's
Don't
just
worry.
let's just say when we get to Series 3, I will be ranting about the T2 versus Dark
I'm,
Destroyer one.
I'm, I know Anderson disagrees with me on this one, but I know that I'm looking forward to. Hopefully, I can get to do Stegosaurus and Gravedigger. I'm looking forward to that one.
Oh, I'll try and get you on that one because because
Uh,
I don't get why
it's-
Anton. I
mm,
don't get him on that one. But after I'll ask him if he gets into Gravediggers. I'll ask him why about that.
okay.
But anyway, that so we got Recyclops as considered controversially through, but still they join Roadblock in the next series, and next week is Robot the Bruce, I think. Yes.
Robot the Bruce, Plunderbird 1, Dreadnought, Wedgehog, Cruella, and Wyzywig.
Yeah, another stock robot because
Yes!
we
I
need.
love Wyzywig.
And in my opinion, took out my favourite competitors of these series, the Plunderbird boys.
Again, as I said earlier, I was watching the making of series of Robot Wars, and Plunderbird originally turned up with a projectile.
I think that was just a joke. I don't know it was actually going to be like a proper.
It turned up with a rocket on the front.
Yeah, I think it was just going to launch at the robot. And then obviously not that projectile weapons. They changed that to saw.
They had the saw and the spike, didn't they? But I like Plunderbird 1. It was pretty cool.
It's pretty decent. But anyway, that is a conversation saved for next time.
Absolutely.
But thank you for joining me, Sam, with this
Anytime.
review.
That's an
And
absolute pleasure.
yes, and I'll upload this later. So I'm signing off. See you later then.
Yep. See you later, guys. Goodbye.
Goodbye.